let us do something crazy. If you are comfortable doing so, come to your knees. You have options on your knees. So the kind of classic thunderbolt pose, you don't use a block and you curl your toes under and you sit like so. Ooh, that feels really good on my feet right now. So you can sit like this, but it does sometimes get uncomfortable after a while, so see how it works for you, but it's actually a really nice stretch of your feet to sit here. Alternatively, or if you get tired, a couch cushion, like one of these little guys, would work if you don't have a yoga block, to put under you and sit like so. And what that does is it takes a bit of the pressure off your knees, and you can even stack a couple if it's more comfortable to sit higher. It's not super comfortable to sit on this edge of it, but you could put two under you, or like a block and a cushion. So find yourself so you're comfortable. If you have problems with your knees and that just is not going to work for you, any of those versions, then you can just sit cross-legged. But actually, this tends to be, I'm going to be on my toes for a minute and then I'll just sit if they start hurting. This actually is quite therapeutic on your knees. So, and I think we'll do some more postures today that kind of stretch here and bring your knee behind you. So I'm going to start on my toes, but I've got the block there for if they start hurting me. One of my yoga instructor friends calls this broken toe posture. So yeah. Okay, so get yourself comfortable. Sitting tall, spine tall, shoulders down and back. Place your hands on your thighs. If you can reach your knees, if you're actually sitting down the block, your hands might go on your knees. And that's actually a very therapeutic posture as well, to put your hands over your knees. There's like this warm sensation that happens. It feels really good. So that's an option. Alternatively, you can have your palms up, whatever works. And then if you're comfortable doing so, closing your eyes, or just allowing your gaze to go soft if you'd rather not close your eyes. And just take a moment settling in. For those of you who ever find cross-legged uncomfortable for meditation or for sitting, this is often a really nice alternative to that if that bothers your knees or hips. So this is always an option, thunderbolt pose. And take some nice, long, deep breaths, inhaling through the nose. Think about pausing for a moment at the top of the breath, and then exhaling it. And then when you get to the bottom of the breath, think of pausing there. If you're familiar with the locks in yoga, you can inhale, and you actually sort of close off your throat. It's an internal hold or lock called a kumbhaka. And as you exhale, you can do the same. And notice what that feels like. Notice what that pause feels like, that gap. It's like a moment of stillness. You're neither inhaling nor exhaling. Allowing your eyes to focus on the backs of your eyelids. Bringing your attention internal. Tuning out excess noise, be it actual physical noise, traffic on the street, air conditioning, children, or the internal noise of your thoughts, your mind. Instead, see if you can notice the sound of your breath. Can you hear it going in? Can you hear it going out? Can you hear the stillness and that pause as you hold the breath for a moment on the inhale and on the exhale? If you're not used to sitting like this, notice how this posture feels on your body. Notice the length of your spine. Shoulders sitting nicely over hips. Feel your heart rate slow, come to a regular beat. And if you'd like, you can set an intention for your practice today. You've stepped foot on the mat, so that's a good start. You're breathing. That's a fantastic next step. Just think about what you want for your practice. To stay present, to remember to breathe, or perhaps to dedicate this practice outward to another person or group of people. The energy, the positivity that you're creating. Let's take a deep inhale, extending the arms up overhead. Press the palms together and draw them down to your heart as you exhale. Good. Release that, opening your eyes. Excellent. So if you're still comfortable sitting here, we'll stay here for a moment. If you were up on your toes, you could maybe come down off of them. If you want to try sitting up on your toes for a minute, I'm going to sit there for a minute because my feet could use the stretch. Take an inhale, we're going to twist, extend the arms up. Exhale, twisting to one side or the other. So when I'm up on my toes like this, my hand doesn't actually reach the floor, but I have put this block under me. So I'm just going to slide the block back and put my hand on the block instead. So I can still stay tall, taking a couple breaths into that. But again, if it doesn't work on your toes, that's fine. So many different variations. I just like to give you the option to try them. Good, back to center, inhale up again. And to the other side. Pressing on the thigh. That pressure there is good. It kind of twists you towards the back. Good, and pressing up, coming up onto those knees. I'm going to turn profile. We're going to do a gentle back bend from here. So knees over, under hips. Standing up tall. Later I'll give you the option to do camel's pose. We won't do camel's pose this time, just a little back bend. So hands either wrapping around your waist, or palms can go up your back, or palms can face down your back. It doesn't really matter. You decide what's comfortable for you. I like my hands on my hips for whatever reason. So use your hands and push your hips and your pelvis forward so that they stay right over your knees, and then pull your elbows towards one another. And then begin to tilt your gaze up towards the ceiling, just opening your chest, contracting your glutes here so you're locking your gluteal muscles and your quadricep muscles, and that's protecting your back. It's just a little back bend. Take a couple of breaths. If you're feeling pinching here in your low back, come out of it. Think about lifting and opening rather than back bending. And bring yourself up to center. So often when people like throw out their backs, it's often because if we try to back bend and you just like back bend, that causes a lot of tension. If you really contract these muscles to support, and instead of bending, think about opening the chest, that creates length in your spine, and eventually a back bend happens. So whether you're in warrior or crescent or here, never think I'm going to do a back bend. Think about lifting and opening, and that starts to create a natural curve of the spine, which can be quite healthy. Okay, we're going to come to gate to do our lateral bend. So let's place our right foot out to the side. I do like to use the block for that. The cushion might work, or a water bottle, because then you're not putting pressure on your knee. So lifting the left arm up. Again, think about lifting and growing tall first, and then bending to the side. And then you can place that hand on your block, which will protect your knee. Make sure you're not rounding down towards the leg. In fact, open, begin to rotate up towards the ceiling. I've shown you before, you can put your hand behind your head. Sometimes that even helps to open your chest a little more. So you can experiment, see if you like the hand behind the head or the arm extended. They feel different. Breathing into that. Good, and release that up. Let's just teeter-totter over, coming into a modified side plank. So left hand finds the mat, left knee is on the mat. Lift up that right leg, extend the right arm. maybe roll that ankle if that feels good. It feels good for me right now. And then let's make little circles with the hips. Actually, I'm going to kick my block over. Let's make bigger circles with the hips. So kind of almost touching the floor, brushing down, make big circles with the hips. So you're really moving that joint. And then reverse that direction. I feel like I'm very coordinated with my backdrop today. I'm almost like camouflaging myself into my mat, into my curtain in the back. Lift yourself up. Good, and let's press up. Excellent, we'll just go right to the other side. So bring that right knee in, extend the left leg, and I'm gonna grab that block, place it down by my left calf. So taking a moment, so you want that knee under your hip, so you really should, if someone were just looking from here, they shouldn't know that anything's off. I'm not leaning one way or the other, I'm right here in the center, lifting up that right arm, growing tall, and then exhale to side bend over. So gate pose is a lateral bend. It's also in the hip opening family. The left foot's planted on the mat. And again, think about, you're not actually rotating backwards, but all of us tend to rotate forward. So if you think about bringing that shoulder up and back, opening the chest, and again, if the hand behind the head helps, that really begins to open your chest without losing that lateral bend. And again, you could leave the arm extended. Good, pressing yourself up. Teeter-totter over to this side, landing on that right hand, lifting up that left leg. Ankle rolls. And then moving the hip for circles. And I know that seems kind of silly, but those are very separate joints, right? Your ankle is one joint, your hip is another joint, your knee is another joint. So switch direction. Sometimes I'll say make leg circles and people roll their ankles. So isolating which joint is doing the circling is actually, pretty important. That's why I like the foam blocks instead of the big wooden blocks. They're much less dangerous. Good, and press yourself up. We're gonna come to standing. So I'm just going to jump up and separate my legs. So I'm still facing you. Release yourself down, letting the head drop over. Since we have our block potentially still handy, you don't need the block, you could just do this on the mat, but you could reach that block out in front of you, place the hands down on it. You can have the hands on the floor, it just depends on flexibility. You might like to have it up a little bit higher. See what feels nice on your back and on your shoulders. So again, depending on how far apart your legs are, depending on your flexibility, depending on the shape of your body, the blocks can sort of just help support you. So maybe you don't need it or want it, but maybe it feels good. So reaching way out, lengthening the spine, the arms, pushing the hips back while drawing the fingertips forward, trying to create length in your spine. So you're not bringing the crown of your head down to the mat. You're extending out. Good, then go ahead and walk the hands back and release the crown of the head down towards the mat. Let everything hang, and again, depending on flexibility, you might find you want that block there. My hands come down to the floor, but depending on you, they might not, so maybe the block makes sense. And then go ahead and come up, and let's just do little lunges from side to side. And each time you go to one side, go a little bit deeper. Start to pause for a moment, feeling that stretch in the inner thigh. And then we'll go ahead and go all the way down, coming into crouching tiger pose, extending that leg. This heel hopefully is on the floor. You may be lifted up in your toes, that's fine. There are binds with this. I find I just need my hands to support me because I'd rather you stay tall than bind and be all folded over. Take a couple breaths. Again, if this is bothering the knee, don't do it. I have all sorts of issues with my knees and I find these to be pretty therapeutic. But that doesn't mean you will. So if it hurts, come out of it or just don't go as deep into it. You'll notice there's a difference if you've got that foot planted or you bring the foot up. get more of a hamstring stretch, you point that toe up. If you tend to hyperextend the knee, just be aware of that. Take a couple breaths. And then we'll go to the other side. Push yourself up and over. Coming to the other side. See my heels lifted on the side. Ooh. Tighter on this side. So again, that leg can be up, toe up, or you can plant the foot down. Taking a couple of breaths. Stretching into the inner thigh. You may definitely feel a difference. I feel a difference. And find what makes sense. You decide, I moved my hands to different places today. For whatever reason, it wasn't working where I often do it. I needed to switch. Could be those like 10,000 steps I did before class. Good. And then push yourself up and over again. Let yourself hang. Bend the knees and roll yourself up. Good. Turning the toes out. Coming down into goddess with hands at your chest. Staying lifted. See if you can push the hips back, keeping knees over ankles so they don't track over the toes. Yet trying to keep the hips, the chest lifted, which means you need to pull the pelvis under. Squeezing up, squeeze the glutes and pause, and then come back down. Breathing into it and press up. So if you tend to have tight hips, actively think about pushing out here. So you're really pressing the legs away. If you don't have such an issue with that, then sometimes you might need to think about not letting them go way outside. Either way, we all should be thinking about knees over ankles, not falling in and not falling out. And squeeze back up. Good, pivot up to the top of the mat. Step the foot forward, start at your top. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, bring the hands behind the back just like you did a moment ago, and we'll do a back bend from here. So again, glutes, quads contracted, push them forward, draw the elbows together, open the chest towards the ceiling, open the gaze towards the ceiling. Back bending only as far as it's comfortable for you. And bringing yourself up. Forward fold, letting yourself release. Go ahead and bend your knees here. Letting your back really round over. Letting your head drop. Maybe even grabbing hold of your opposite elbows. And we're going to do a spinal roll-up. So let your arms go. Let your head go. Let your knees be pretty soft. A pretty decent bend in your knees here. So your back is really rounded. And we're going to slowly roll up. So you start with the base of your spine. Knees are still bent. Once you get towards the middle of your spine, your knees start to straighten. You get to the top of the spine, the shoulders roll back, and eventually the head comes up. We'll do that again, starting going down. So bring the chin to the chest, round the shoulders forward, pull the belly button in, round the upper back forward. Begin to bend the knees as the lower back, middle back and lower back bend. And you get all the way down. And then keeping the knees bent, begin to roll up again. One vertebra on top of the other. Slowly restacking. Last time, take an inhale, and as you exhale, head drops, rolling forward, bending the knees, coming all the way down, and again, just hanging here for a moment. Straighten the legs. Actually, I lied. Bend your knees again and grab your toes with your peace fingers with bent knees. Then try to straighten your legs. Maybe they don't straighten, that's okay. Maybe they do. Let your elbows flare out and pull the crown of your head down towards the floor. Good, release that. Slide your hands up your shins, find halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. So belly button is in, back is flat. So you should basically be making like a letter T I always think we look like that tool that was in my mom's toolbox that is called like a right angle, because it has like the right angle and then it has this piece across it. I don't know what it's called. My mother would know. Like, you know that I said my mother's toolbox, not my father's toolbox. My mother had the toolbox in the house. Pull the belly button in. You should be feeling this here in the backs of your hamstrings. You should be getting a stretch all through there. You're also engaging your spine, or your abs rather, and note that your spine should not be arched. That will hurt your back. So pull that belly button in. Notice where your weight is. Are you out over your toes? Are you back on your heels? See if you can find yourself right in the center, and hands not pushing on knees, either above or below. Now push into your feet, engage the quads, engage the glutes, and press yourself up to standing. Good. Inhale, arms extend up. Exhale, hands find heart center. Just work the shoulders a little bit, bringing your hands to your shoulders, rolling the shoulders forwards. And rolling them backwards. Excellent. Now inhale up. Exhale to heart center. Shoulders down and back. Abdominals in. Gluteals in, supporting your spine. That long filament drawing you up from the crown of your head, lengthening everything, yet feeling those feet nicely rooted in the mat. Take an inhale, extending the arms upwards. As you exhale, forward fold. As you inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, release to the mat. Step the right foot back, find long lunge, knee over ankle, and pause here for a moment. So you're pressing back through that right foot, lengthening through the hamstring. This is another time a lot of people find blocks are helpful, just to keep at the top of the mat in this long lunge position. If you feel like you're creating tension in your shoulders and your neck, take a look at your knee, make sure it's over ankle. Twisting here, keeping the right hand in the mat, lifting up to the left. Arm can extend up, gaze can look up to the arm. Circle that arm forward, big circle, working that whole shoulder joint. And then hand finds the mat. Step the left foot back, coming to knees. Lower all the way down onto the mat. Inhale, slide the hands out, coming up to Sphinx, rolling shoulders down and back. Chest is lifting, so our pelvis, our hips are on the floor, gluteals are contracted, but we're peeling our abdomen away from the mat. We're lifting our chest, lengthening through the spine. Again, that string pulling us up from the crown of our head, but our pelvis is rooted, so we can't lift completely off the mat. Releasing that down, press back. Come to child's pose, let the head release down. Take a breath into the back body. Good, pressing up. Coming onto hands and knees. A couple of cow pats here, inhaling. Exhaling. Working through that spine. And then next time you press up into cat, hold there for a moment, push the floor away, pull the belly button up, and then curl the toes under and push up and back, coming to downward facing dog, pressing the heels towards the mat. Go ahead and jogging through. If you need to, bend one knee, bend the other knee. Rolling shoulders away from the ears, pressing the palms of the hands into the mat. Extend the right leg up to give yourself a stretch but without tilting to one side. So feeling a stretch in the hamstring. Push that right heel away. Bend the right heel and try to push the foot up towards the sky. See if you can get a little bit of a stretch in there. And then swing that foot all the way forward, plant the right foot down. Lunging on this side. So again, sometimes the foot lands way the heck back here. That's fine. Just bring it forward so you can get knee over ankle. Hands on blocks if you want. Now pressing through the left hamstring. Again, keeping right hand on the mat, pivoting the back foot down, and now opening with that left arm up towards the sky. Reach the left arm overhead. Give yourself a long stretch from the fingertips down to the toes. And then let that hand find the mat again. Step the left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale to rise all the way up. Exhale, hands find the heart. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, release down. Inhale, flat back lift. Exhale, release. This time stepping left foot back. Long lunge, right foot forward, right knee over right ankle, pushing through the left heel, giving yourself a stretch to that hamstring. Breathing here. Twisting, so leaving the left hand where it is, twist to the right, extend that right arm overhead, looking up towards the sky. And make a big circle with that right arm. Reaching up overhead, circling around, nice and slow. Nice, slow, juicy movement tonight. And then place that hand on the mat. Step the left foot back. And lower all the way down onto the mat. Bring the hands behind the body, clasp the hands together, lift up the chest. Pull the chest away from the mat, pull the shoulders back. Gazing just forward, keeping the head more or less neutral. Again, that filament drawing you up. We don't want to throw our head back and hurt our neck. Squeeze the glutes. Can you lift a little higher? Can you lift the arms off the back? Good. Releasing that down, bringing the hands up. Press yourself up and back. Come back and sit on your heels in child's pose. Take a breath into the back body. Good, and again, bring yourself up, coming to hands and knees, coming to neutral spine. Push your left hip out and look over your shoulder, see if you can see it. And then to the other side, push the right hip out. And do that a couple more times, bending through the spine, moving side to side. And coming back to center, pull the belly button in. Lift the knees off the mat, hovering, 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 pull the belly button in, pushing the hands away. We're going to come to down dog. It's your option if you want to drop your knees or if you can curl your toes under from here and push yourself up and back, coming to down dog. Jogging through one knee, then the other knee. Pressing both heels towards the mat. Extend the left leg up this time, pushing it away, keeping the hips parallel to the floor so we're not tilting over. Bend the knee and push that foot up towards the sky. See if you can lift a little higher. We're just holding it. We're not pulsing today. And then swing that left foot forward, plant it down. Runner's lunge on this side. Pressing through the back heel. And then pivoting that right foot onto the mat, keeping the left hand on the mat. Extend the right arm up, looking up towards the sky. Reaching the arm overhead, giving yourself a long stretch. And bringing that hand to the mat. Step the right foot all the way forward, forward fold. Rising all the way up on the inhale, gentle back bend. And exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, extending up, coming into chair posture. Sitting back on our heels, knees over ankles, coming just as low as you want. Arms can extend, they can also stay here at the heart. Chest lifted as much as possible. Forward fold. Extend the legs, flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, release, hands find the mat. Right foot steps back, releasing that back knee down onto the mat. Rising up, hand behind the knee and hinging forward. Opening through the chest. Deep breath in. If you're stable and you want, you could bring your hands to heart center. You could also extend the arms up. You can also come to cactus. For some reason, I like to have my arms open here in cactus rather than straight up. I don't know, it's just more comfortable for me, but maybe that's just me. So any of those positions, hands on thighs, hands at heart, arms extended, or pulling a cactus. I just love this. It like so opens the chest and shoulders. It's one of my favorite positions for arms. But I think it's because my shoulders tend to want to round down, so maybe that's why I like it. Good, then bring the hands to the mat, shifting back into that half split. So again, blocks are sometimes very much your friend here. Sometimes we need to be lifted. Maybe you can come up on your fingertips if that works better. The foot can be on the floor or the heel can be flexed. If you want, you can round over. So think about pushing back. So you're sitting back through your hips. You're lengthening through. So this is half split. So it's definitely, pretty intense stretch. So having the foot flex might be too much. Maybe it's better. Maybe that leg needs to be a little bit bent. See what works for you. Move within it. And if it's hurting that right knee because of how you're sitting on that, adjust that. Are you too far forward on the kneecap? It's sometimes better to be back here so that you're more on your shin, not right on the top of your knee. Not ideal. Good, then place that foot on the floor, plant the hands, step that foot back, coming to knees, and lower all the way down to the mat. Extending out, reach the arms overhead, lift the arms and lift the legs this time. Squeezing the gluteal muscles, lift the chest up as much as you can. If it's too much having arms extended, you could find that cactus posture again. That's sometimes more comfortable. Oh, I just noticed my legs are really far apart. See if you can squeeze your legs closer together. Hands could also find the mat, so you decide. Take a breath. Good, release that, push into your hands, push up and back. Sitting back on the heels in child's pose for just about 2 or 3 breaths. Good, rising up onto hands and knees, coming to hands and knees. Knees over under ankles. Knees under ankles. What did I just say? Knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. Body parts. Yoga 101. I think I'm scooching. Stay right where you are. Extend your right leg behind you, pushing the heel away. See if you can stay even here, so belly is pulling in. Can you extend the opposite arm? Pressing the foot away, trying to straighten that leg, trying to straighten the arm, but pull the shoulder into its socket so you're not reaching the shoulder out. Good, and then bend the knee, and can you catch the ankle? Maybe there's a back bend here. It's a nice stretch of the quad. And if you're like, no, I totally can't catch the ankle, you could just bend your knee here and you can put your hand on the floor to support. Good, and release that down, curl your toes under, push yourself up and back, downward facing dog. Extend the right leg up. This time we will do the hip opener, so bending the knee, dropping the foot to that other side. Right hip stacks over left. Good, back to center. Swing that right leg all the way forward. Option to drop the knee or option to come up to a lunge with your hands at your heart. You can keep that knee down if that's more comfortable. Twist to that bent knee, so towards the right, extending the arms. And then exalted warrior, back arm drops down, front arm comes up. Good, release the hand to the mat. Step the left foot forward, bending the knees, rising up, chair pose. Holding here. Can you come up on your toes, or your balls of your feet, I should say? We're not doing ballet, we're not on point. Can you sink a little lower? Release the heels to the floor and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Step that left foot back. Release the left knee to the mat. Rising up, hinging forward. Hand on the thigh, opening the chest, shoulders back. And then decide what variation you want. If you want to stay here, if you want to bring hands to heart, if you want to reach your arms up. This is another one I didn't show you last time. Hands clasped behind the back. Or Monica's favorite, cactus. Good. Release the hands to the mat, hinging back, finding half splits. Again, definitely come off like, I think it's the patella right here on top. You really want to try to sit back more in your shin. That's going to feel better. Figure out where your hands need to be. Maybe they need to be on a block. Maybe you're just on fists or fingertips. Figure out if you like your foot on the mat or flex back. And then it's optional to bend over. If I were like super limber, I would be like, you know, down there on my leg, but I'm only so limber. What you should be feeling is that you're getting a stretch that's not hurting you. Holding these stretches is sometimes a little uncomfortable, but it should not be causing you pain. You should not be straining, overstretching. You can definitely hurt your muscles if you overstretch. I should know, I have done that. When I was doing my yoga training, my Ashtanga training, I way overstretched my hamstrings for like the whole 30 days. And then I was like 6 weeks I couldn't practice yoga. So didn't like need surgery or anything like that. They just need to recover. I had just stretched way too much. So you just don't want to overdo it. Like anything. Good. Rock that foot forward. Press the hands into the mat. Step the foot back. Come to knees. Lower all the way down to the mat. Good. I'm gonna give you the option of coming to bow here. So bending both knees. We've done a fair amount of back bending, so your back should be ready for this. I feel like I missed something. Bring your hands to your ankles. Squeeze your knees together. Lift the legs up. Kick the hands away. Pull the shoulders back. Deep breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Lift the knees up, 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 up. Can you lift them more? Can you lift the chest more? Good, release that. Press your hands into the mat, push yourself up and back. Sitting back in your heels in child pose. 2 or 3 breaths here. And then coming on to hands and knees. I'm not going to try to say the body parts. They obviously confound me today. You know what they are. Extend the left leg, push the leg away. Extend the right arm. So see if you can feel the difference of what I'm talking about. Particularly, some people might have more of this than others. But if you really, really, really reach forward, your shoulder kind of stretches out away from your other shoulder. Pull that shoulder back in its socket and see if you can extend your arm without dislocating your shoulder. Well, I'm not dislocating it, but without, getting your shoulders out of alignment. Keep them in alignment. Good, bending the knee, and then if you can catch your foot in your hand, kick that up and away. Good, release that down, push into your hands, push yourself up and back. Downward facing dog. Extend that left leg up, bend the knee, drop it over to the other side. Stacking left hip on right. Coming back to center, bring that foot all the way forward, planting it down. Option to drop the back knee or to rise up here in our high lunge. If you don't have the foot on the floor, see if you can push away and get a really nice extended hamstring. You can come as deep as you want here. This should also feel like a pretty good stretch. Twisting towards that knee, extending the arms. And then option to drop that back arm, coming to exalted warrior. Opening up the side body. It's another favorite posture of mine. Good, bring the hands to the mat. Step the right foot all the way forward, coming to the left, forward fold. Bending the knees, rising up into chair, hands to heart center. And then pressing into the heels, extending all the way up. And then forward fold all the way down. Bend the knees, slide your hands under your feet so that you're standing on top of your feet. I'm actually not going to do that because, as we were discussing before class, my feet are really dirty. So standing on your feet, your toes are going to be at your wrists and your fingertips are in the middle of your feet, and then you pull on your feet to bring you down, Padahastasana. Your knees can definitely be bent here, and you're just pressing, trying to straighten your legs. If your legs are already straight, you're pulling against your feet to deepen the stretch. So it's either the sensation of pushing into your hands or pulling against your feet, depending on where you are in that stretch. Good, and then releasing that heel toe your feet out, coming down into a deep yogi squat. So ideally heels are on the floor, but if your heels are lifted, that's okay. If you need to sit on a block or something like that, that's also okay. What's not okay is being all like rounded over. So get so that you can sit tall with your hips under you. If that means sitting on a couple of blocks, that's fine. And then use your arms to press against your inner thighs and lift up. Good, and then release out of that, coming to a sit, extending those legs out in front of you, sitting up nice and tall, staff posture, Dandasana. Inhale, extending the arms up. Exhale, Paschimottanasana, releasing down into it. Your option, feet flexed or not flexed, gives you more of a stretch, and always feeling free to grab hold of something to deepen the stretch. Okay, roll yourself up. I'm going to show you a little bit of a pretzel-y kind of stretch. So the first thing to do, we're going to tuck one foot behind us. So if this doesn't work for you, tucking one knee behind, you can skip it, or you could do this, which is just a different stretch. But one knee bent behind, trying to keep the knee in line with the hip. So again, you might find it's easier to bring that knee out, that's fine. But bring it in as much as is going to work for you, as much as is comfortable for you. So it's not actually, there's still a gap, but you're maintaining that kind of hips distance. Flexing the opposite foot, inhaling, extending up, exhaling to fold over. Again, flexing that extended foot gives you a deeper stretch. Grabbing hold of it gives you a deeper stretch, or wherever you can reach. And just take some deep breaths. Good, pressing yourself up. So pretzel move option, bringing this foot up onto your thigh or onto your hip. So if it doesn't reach, it could, certainly be on the inside. Let's see if you can get it up on the thigh. The higher up, the better. And then you're going to twist towards that side. So the full version, well, I don't even know if it's the full version, but the fullest version I do, there's a bind. So you're starting to reach this back hand around your body, and see if you can just grab your hip. If you can reach it all the way to your foot, fine. But for a lot of people, that's not going to happen. And then the front hand comes onto the floor, and you actually slightly feel like you're leaning forward in this one so that the hand can find the floor and maybe the knee finds the floor. And then we're twisting. I realize this is super pretzel-y, and I can't see you, so if you're not in it, obviously that's fine. Do what you can do. If you're just like in some part version of it, that's fine. It's just another way to get a spinal twist. The yogis were never satisfied with just simply doing a twist. They have to add all sorts of crazy things to it. See, as always, with all of our twists, can you open that back shoulder towards the back? Can you keep the spine tall? The most important thing is always the integrity of the spine. And just take a couple breaths. Go ahead and release out of that. And do whatever version you have your legs in. Shake it out. Other side. Bending the right leg in, or whichever one you didn't do. Knee in line with the hip. Opposite leg extended. Inhale up. Exhale, hold. Releasing the head down. Flexing that foot, maybe grabbing hold of it. And walking that back up. Okay, so same option here. Bringing that left foot up onto the hip, onto the thigh, wherever it wants to go. Maybe it just makes it to the floor. That's fine. And then we're twisting. We're reaching that hand around. I don't know that I can do the bind on this side today. And then the front hand goes, and the bottom, that knee tries to find the hand. We sit up tall and we twist. So yeah, right now on this side, because this knee has this new kind of weird injury, I've got my hand on my hip. But I can still get that twist. The reason for that hand there is to help pull you around and give you that twist. So you're just sort of kind of grabbing hold, even if you just grab a piece of your clothing. If you just grab your shirt or your shorts or your pants, and then pull that shoulder back, sit up nice and tall, and breathe into it. And again, if any of this hurts, just do a seated half spinal twist. At the end of the day, what we're doing is a spinal twist, but you're getting some additional hip kind of work here. And then release that. Undo those legs. If you have a block or similar, bring it. If not, I'll show you how you can do this with your hands, but it's just easier, more comfortable with the block. So come on down to your back, rolling yourself down. So we're going to come to a supported bridge. Depends on the flexibility of your spine, how you do this. You can put anything under you. You could simply lift yourself up and hold the bridge, but that's just more effort. So you can have the block here in its lowest setting. You can have the block on its medium edge, so it's along your spine, starting somewhere around your sacrum. Or if you want, I love having it up here because I like that extra back bend. And here it's just right down here on my sacrum, right on the pelvic bone, shoulders down on the mat. So you decide. This is a pretty dramatic lift. It doesn't work for everybody. This could, like I said, just be lifted and using your own muscles to support you. You could be on a pillow. You could also take your hands, but you do, again, have to have a more flexible spine, and elbows can be on the floor and your hands can hold your hips up. Okay, so you decide, and we're going to hang out here for a moment. This is going to be your inversion this evening. And just relax into it, especially if you're supported. I haven't said it already, investing in a couple of yoga blocks is well worth it. You find they're very handy around the house. 3 of mine are being used to support my laptop right now. So, you know, you'll find a use to them even if it's not yoga. But these foam ones are really nice and comfortable. They're lightweight, so for those of us who move a lot, they don't add weight. Feel yourself breathing into this. I often, tell you to keep your hips in line here. Don't worry about if your legs want to flop open or if they want to fall inwards. Just relax into this. Let the abdomen go. Let everything release, relax. And as you sit in it, if you want to change the height up or down, you could do that. Lift up and go ahead and remove that block from under you and hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little rock from side to side, massaging the spine. Draw the right leg in, push the left heel away, pulling that right shin in. Place the left foot on the floor, cross the right ankle over that thigh, push that right knee away, and then lift up, holding behind the left thigh, pulling that into the body, opening the right side. Maybe the right arm presses against the right inner thigh. And release that and switch. Left leg comes in, right heel pushes away, squeezing the left shin. Bending the right foot or the knee, put it on the mat, left ankle across the thigh. Take a moment in your figure four, your supine pigeon, to let that left knee push away. And then lift up the right thigh and keep opening up through the left hip. And then release that, bringing the knees in, coming to happy baby, so reaching in between the legs, grabbing hold of ankles or feet. Trying to keep your glutes, your hips, your pelvis on the mat, rather than lifting up, and just rock. And then bring the soles of the feet together and bring the feet to the floor. If you want, one of my favorite postures is to have cactus arms and feet together, open hips. It's like open hips, open shoulders. I just think it's the most relaxing thing in the world. You can try that for a breath or two. And then we're going to come to our Savasana. So if there's anything else you need to do, if you need to do a final twist down here, you can do that. If you want to stay with your legs here and your arms on your body or open, you can do that. And if you want to come to classic Savasana, of course you can do that. Closing your eyes, wherever you are, once you do whatever you need to do, don't rush. Eventually find yourself in that final resting Savasana, supine butterfly, whatever you want. Take a deep inhale from there and just let it go, melting into the mat. With every inhale, imagine drawing in relaxation. Every exhale, letting go of tension. And if your mind wanders, that's okay. Just gently bring it back. Maybe your gaze focuses on the backs of your eyelids. If your mind needs a place to go, you can count the breath. You can count in and out. 1. 2, and so on. Allowing that breath to be gentle and slow. Anytime the mind wanders, just bringing it back. Bringing it back to the breath. Once again, maybe paying attention to that pause, that gap where you're neither inhaling nor exhaling. Begin to bring your attention back to the body, back to your physical surroundings, wiggling fingers and toes, rolling wrists and ankles, rolling your head from side to side. And drawing your knees towards your chest, bringing yourself over to one side or the other. And bringing yourself to a nice, comfortable sit. If you liked being on your knees at the beginning, you can certainly do that. Otherwise, just cross-legged. Tall spine. Noticing that slow and gentle breath right now. Hopefully feeling really relaxed and really slow, so it's just these really small, gentle breaths. Noticing that cool air, the slow heart rate, your body in a sense of peace and tranquility. And the hope is with yoga that you take that with you for a minute, for an hour, or for a day. I have a quote that has to do with the what I was talking about, the pausing between the breaths. It's from someone named Truman Fisher, who says, "The pause is as important as the note." That moment of stillness, that moment of weightlessness. Think of all those moments that we have in the day where we can take a moment to just pause. In fact, I posted something about that earlier today as well. Just pause, just breathe, just stop, and then continue. You always have that option. Take a deep inhale as you reach the arms up. Reawakening the body. Exhale, bring the hands down to heart center. Om Shanti Om. Namaste.